Okay folks, Rick again. I'm installing Mark Byer's Sentinel skid plate hydro fan guard on my GC2610. There are some minor differences between the older GC26 series tractors and the newer GC1700 series tractors. So I've got to do some modifications to the setup here in order for it to fit on my tractor. So what I'll do is I'll bring you underneath and I'll show you where the differences are, and show you what I need to do to modify this plate, and then I have to install this adapter in order for everything to fit. So I'll show you what I have to do to make this work. So come on underneath with me. Okay, so here we are underneath the GC2610, as I said. So there are really 2 or 3 differences, and I'll point them all out. So the first difference is on the U guard here, the U bracket. This bracket right here. On the 26 series, let's see if I can find it. Where'd she go? Alright, so on the 26 series, let me get some light on this. There's this bracket right here, welded to that U plate. That's welded on there. I don't believe the 17 series have that. So I started to take this off to install the Sentinel Guard. I removed the 2 brackets, 2 bolts up here. The other difference, which doesn't really matter, but I'll point it out, is on the other end, there are two similar bolts to these on the other side over there. Those have to come out. But on mine, I've got a bolt up high. I can show it to you. There it is. So there's that bolt up high, right up. Now, let's see. That bolt right. I can't get any decent light on this. And that bolt right up in there. That's the one bolt on the, we'll call it the passenger side, that's got to come off. That's up high, and that's where Mark's U-Guard bolts in, up there as well. So that one bolt has to come out. That's up behind the tire over here, so it's a little tricky to get into. Might be easier to get to if you pull the tire off, but it's doable with the tire on. So anyway, the difference is you got the bracket here. So if you want to use the U-Guard that comes with the Sentinel, you'd have to make another bracket like that, or weld this one on. Take it off this guard and weld it on the new one. That bracket has the, you see that return spring right here, and then this cable, which is, I don't know, either the brake cable or the diff lock, one or the other, I'm not sure which. So Mark's been great to work with. Mark Byer's been great to work with, and he sent me an adapter. Now the other problem I have is on the GC2610s, or the 26 series, they've got this large notch out here for access to the shaft here. I think on the 17 series guards there is no notch out here. This goes straight across, and then on the guard that Mark provides is a smaller notch out there, and I'll show you in a minute what problem that causes. So let me get the guard and we'll put that in place, and I'll show you the differences. Okay, so there's the main guard. So these two holes here go down in the bottom of the U-guard. They bolt, like one's about here, and the other one's going to be over here somewhere. So the problem is this bolt hole with, well, I'll back up. What I need to do is leave this guard on. I'm going to leave this guard on rather than try to mess with that bracket over here. I'm going to leave this guard in place. So the problem I have is this hole is right in here somewhere where this notch out is. So Mark sent me an adapter, and I'll put the adapter in here, and let me show you how this goes. This is going to go like that. So Mark provided an adapter that I'm going to run across the bottom of the inside, the top side of this plate, and it's going to come out over to here. And then what I'm going to do, so I'll have the second hole is going to be out here, that I can mount the PTO protector, the shaft protector to. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole through this guard here and through the adapter. I'll show you the adapter. So there's the adapter, and that's going to go like such. And so here's the hole hanging out here. So I'll put one bolt through here. I've got to drill a hole over here for the bolt to go through. And then I'll drill a hole over here to bolt this end. And then I'll put the plate on like that. Now the other problem I have is on the 2610s or the 26 series, I've got this return spring for, I'm not even sure what it's for, but there's a return spring here. And the 17 series, I don't believe have that spring. Now, I'm not sure. I'm going by John Jones's video when he installed the same guard on his 17 series tractor. So I've watched his video a few times to understand the differences, and I don't remember seeing this return spring on his tractor. So when I try to install, let's see, yeah, this way. So when I try to install this guard, you see it doesn't slide all the way over where it's supposed to be. That spring's in the way. So what I've got to do, you can see I already started working on it. I've got to cut a notch out of this plate to fit around that guard. So I did a rough outline and marker. I'm not going to be real precise. It's not that important. So I'm just going to cut out about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches down on that, and about 1.5 inches in. And cut that notch out, and then I can slide the plate in around that return spring. So those are the things I have to do, and I'll get to it and show you the end result. Okay, so this bend that I have in my guard is a bend right here. That's just messing everything up for me. If that bend was not there, everything would work out a lot better for me. I'll show you. It's about 1/2 inch bend. I'll show you. Hold the adapter plate up to this. You can see the bend there. It's about 1/2 inch gap, 3/8 of an inch gap maybe, and that's just throwing everything off. It's throwing all the geometry off on installing the plate. So what's happening is that bend, when I go to put the plate on, the Sentinel plate, it's pushing everything up, and then part of the plate, the PTO guard is actually hitting up in here. So I need that extra 1/2 inch or 3/8 of an inch, and everything would fall right down into place. So I'll show you, if I can, I'll show you what I mean. It's not too bad without the plate, without the adapter plate in there, but let's see if I can get it in there. Well, see, without the adapter plate in the way there, I can get everything in. It's still tight, but it would work. If that bend wasn't there, we could put the adapter plate on top of the guard, and then this on top of the U-guard, and then put the Sentinel Guard on top of the adapter plate. I think everything would fit in well. The other thing I did is I cut out that notch there for that spring to fit around that. Let's see if I can see the plate. So there's the PTO guard up in there. So it does fit that way. So the first part of this video I recorded a couple of weeks ago, and then I had to put it on the back burner because I was busy restoring my barn, and I was busy with the tractor doing excavating and some other work. So I've got two issues right now trying to put this all together, and it's no fault of the Sentinel Guard. It's no fault of Mark Byro. It's mainly due to this bend, and that's just screwing everything up. The other issue I have is with my barn torn apart. I've got no workshop, and all of my tools are packed away. So other than a few screwdrivers and a hammer, I've really got nothing to work with. So I'm just trying to do a mock-up for you at this point. I want to get this done and out. So I know Mark has some people interested in the Sentinel for the 2610 model, which is what I have, or the 26 series. So I would think you can work it one of two ways on your machine, as long as you don't have that bend in there. You could put the plate on the bottom like this, and it should work. You'd have to drill a hole down in here, and another one over at this end. You have to drill holes in your existing U-guard. And before I forget, the other thing you could do is take your U-guard off and just redo this bracket right here, and try to install that bracket somehow on the U-guard that comes with the Sentinel plate. So which is easier? I don't know, whether you take this off or make another one and put it on the Sentinel U-guard, or install this plate. What you want to do is, it'll come pre-drilled with this hole and that hole. I drilled this just because of the geometry from that bend. I had to drill this hole to try to get it to work. But I would recommend you work with the existing holes and just make sure that you line up the plate to give yourself enough room. Those two holes that come pre-drilled on the adapter plate match up to these two holes on the Sentinel plate. But you want to make sure you give yourself enough room over here to line everything up. If you have the Sentinel plate over too far, it may not work. So plan everything out. Make sure you leave yourself enough room so that you'll have to cut that notch like I did on the spring. Make sure the plate up here clears the drive shaft. So it certainly is possible to get the Sentinel Guard on here on the 2610. you just have to do a few modifications and it'll work. So I wish that I could install it completely for you. What I will do is I'll do a quick mock-up. I'll have to put the phone down, do a quick mock-up, and then I'll come back to it. All right, so I was going to do a mock-up here, and I had another thought. So what I did was on the adapter plate, I decided, as I had mentioned earlier, I believe, I used the pre-drilled holes. I wasn't using those at first. I had this other hole here that I drilled, a second Mickey Mouse hole over here that I drilled. So I disregarded those. I decided to use the pre-drilled holes, shifted everything over a little bit to the left side of the tractor. So you can see the adapter plate sticking out on the side here a little bit. And I think I had mentioned earlier that if you shifted that plate over a little bit, it would probably help line things up. That's what I did. I probably shifted it more than is necessary, normally necessary, but I had to do it because of my bent U-guard. When I did that, everything kind of fell into place. Everything's all bolted up now. I got the bolt up here for the PTO guard. PTO guard's bolted in down here. I got room for my PTO shaft. So everything's lined up. Everything's looking good. The only thing I really have to do is on the notch out that I did here for the return spring isn't sitting quite right, so I have to do another little notch out, maybe a diagonal notch out right here to clear that spring. That's it. Everything else is lined up. So it's looking good. On any other installation on a 26 series tractor and possibly 23 series tractors, I don't know because I've never been under them, but I'm guessing that they're pretty much the same. This would be an easier installation. Again, I keep saying it, but again, my bent U-guard is the problem here. And I just don't have time to take that off right now because I've got so many other projects coming up. What I did, because of that bend, about a ½ inch bend in that U-guard, is I installed the Sentinel Guard underneath my existing U-guard. So I bolted everything to the bottom side so I wasn't dealing with that upward curve on the U-guard. So I worked around that. Everything looks good. So I want to thank Mark Byro. This is a fantastic product. I'm really happy with it. I've got some clearing to do pretty soon in my land. I don't know if it'll be this fall or next spring or when it's going to be. But I wanted to have this in place before I did that because I'm doing a lot of clearing. There's going to be a lot of branches, and I didn't want to damage my fan again and have to replace that again. That was a job. Mark was great to work with. I really appreciate all Mark's help. We corresponded back and forth by email numerous times, trying to determine if this guard would fit on the 26 series tractors because it's really designed for the 17 series. So I sent him pictures. We emailed back and forth on different issues. So I eventually bought the guard, and after I got the guard, that's when I realized that the notch out here on the existing U-guard was too large for this part to bolt to. Is the notch goes over to about here somewhere. So this had nothing to bolt to. So that's when Mark devised the adapter plate for me, and he sent that to me. So that made the difference. And Mark, well, I really appreciate it. I appreciate all of your help. You've been great to work with. So once again, thanks, Mark, and thanks everybody for watching. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to punch the like button, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks much.